What do you think's happened to the campaign?
Well, obviously the runoff itself, there's always going to be a lot of, a little bit of, back and forth, and that certainly has occurred in this. We're really trying to focus on the message, and the message is economic prosperity, where no one's left behind, continuing to be the #1 state to do business in, partnering with, obviously, Governor Deal to do great things with the deepening of the harbor, but also the expansion and widening of I-16 along with 95. We're going to continue to make those investments, and we've got a record that shows that we know how to build a strong economy and also keep it going in the right direction. We're on the right path, and we're going to be the candidate that's going to lead Georgia into an even greater prosperous era.
Is that part of SHEP, an important part of SHEP?
Well, our focus at this juncture right now is obviously getting Savannah deepened. That is the most important aspect, and it's a very expensive proposition. The state has already invested a significant amount of resources, and now we're waiting on our federal partners to do the same. So, but we're committed, and we're going to make it happen. This is a $60 billion plus enterprise for the state of Georgia, and fuels the economy for the entire Southeast. So we want to make sure that the deepening does get done.
Why would you be a better governor than Brian Kemp or Stacey Abrams for Savannah?
Well, I think one is, I look at the investments that I have made, look at how many times I've been here and been attentive to the needs of this community, and I'm going to continue to do that. But most importantly, we have a person who has been partnered with both Governor Sonny Perdue before Governor Deal as Lieutenant Governor, and every day I've had to wake up to be prepared to be the next governor, and so we know what to do in order to continue to see that prosperity for the state, and being focused on the infrastructure items and the investments that we need to make along with the workforce. And one of our great challenges is too many people are gaming the system and sitting at home getting a governmental check versus being back into the workforce, and that's going to come to an end with me. I'm going to have drug testing along with making sure work requirements in place before you can get governmental assistance.
And some people say that that's mean. There are a lot of people like, do you agree with this? I think, is it Kentucky where they talk about they want some kind of a testing for Medicaid? A lot of people on Medicaid are not able-bodied.
We are talking about able-bodied individuals, and I don't think it's mean to ask someone to work if they're able-bodied, and that's the important distinction here. It's quite significant, and if we're really going to get serious about breaking the cycle of dependency on government and being trapped in this set of entitlements, we've got to start now. We have to give our kids a better choice and a better option, and that's why my College and Career Academy network that I'm going to expand for every kid in Georgia to have access to, along with dual enrollment, along with apprenticeship programs, is really the secret to that success.
You talked a little bit about in the beginning about the campaign, but it's kind of more than back and forth. He said some pretty bad things about you, and you're saying some pretty disagreeable things about him. Where do you go from here in the Republican Party after this kind of a primary?
Well, obviously, I think, everyone has a tendency to come together and unite at the end. These campaigns can become somewhat divisive, and we understand that. But on the same token, my record speaks for itself, and I am very proud of what we've been able to do around education, giving more choices and more options for our kids, and we don't run away from that. Now, sadly enough, I have a candidate who's been up to some real dirty tricks, but in the end, we've got to get our message out there, and that's what we're doing.
So, do you have any comments about these excerpts of tapes that he's released? It doesn't seem to be any doubt you had this conversation. Do you regret anything you've said, or do you think that it's taken out of context?
Well, there's no question, one, that it's taken out of context, but two is this is now has become very evident that both Kemp and Tippins were very much in coordination through all of this. And I think this was a dirty trick that is something that Obama would do to President Trump. I don't think it's right. And we're going to push back. We're going to push back hard because it was taken out of context and it was done under false pretense. And so it's not something that I think is an ethical way of behavior, and it's very disappointing.
Well, he says that it shows how you behave when no one's watching.
Well, I mean, listen, I will tell you that the only person that's broken a law is him. And that is pretty evident in that the people in which he regulates, he is taking resources and money from. And you can't do that legally. All three Secretary of States prior to him all either resigned or refused to take money from entities by which they regulate. So, I mean, there's a clear distinction between my record and his.
Just elaborate a little bit on that. I'm not familiar. You're saying he's taking campaign money from corporations that he regulates.
Correct.
As Secretary of State. How
yes.
many?
Yeah. I mean, over $250,000 in which he has taken from entities by which he regulates, and that there's a pending ethics violation already underway, and it's pretty clear that you can't do it. And the Attorney General's ruling was very clear as well.
Do you worry that some of these things will kind of follow you into the general election, this tape stuff? That might be something that's fodder that will never go away.
Well, listen, on the issue of education, that is the area by which they are wanting to talk about. This gave parity for charter schools, all right, in funding. We also increased the SSO, the Student Scholarship Organization, for needy kids to go to private schools. And we fully funded K-12 education. That is a good thing. Now, are there issues around, would I like to have more needs-based and needy individuals have access to the SSOs? Yes, but that doesn't hide the fact that this was good legislation that moved the ball forward to help kids in the future of their success. So listen, this is dirty tricks that clearly is taken out of context, and the truth will come out.